What's up YouTube, Dao here from Zephyr, and today I'm bringing an update to my Dark World Illusion profile. So I took this to locals this weekend. It went okay. I ended up drawing way too many of my matches, and then I lost too many of my matches in time. So definitely learnt my lesson that I need to move as fast as I can with this deck, but it's all of the resolutions of dangers, and then it kind of changes your thought process. But the illusions put in so much work. Not only did a few people know exactly what they did, but they were just able to produce more board breakers. They were able to rip more cards from my opponent's hand, graveyard negations that a lot of people forgot about, and then on top of that, the synergy with Dark World is absolutely insane because it allows you to get into your Grepher Fusion Dragon, which really does help sometimes as well. So, with all of that out of the way, please smash that like button, hit that notification bell, and subscribe so you don't miss out on any more upcoming content. I'll also show you the side deck, and I'm going to talk you through any changes that I would make, what went well, what didn't go well. So we'll start off with the pretty standard lineup. I'm not going to take too long on this because it's just triple Drenta, triple Snow, triple Rainbow, and then double Grepher. Now, lineup pretty standard in every Dark World matchup. And then playing the one Cerulli, the one Silver, and the one Gold. A lot of people don't like Gold. I still really like it. Like, it actually put in a lot of work for me today because when I went second against like a trap deck, I was able to go, okay, cool, Cerulli, go to your board, make me discard Gold, Gold effect, try and pop those two cards. So it actually put in a lot of work for me, so I was really happy with that inclusion. The dangers, 2 Nessie, 2 Mothman, 1 Thunderbird, 1 Bigfoot, 1 Jackalope. Now, these were great. There was a couple of times where I just kept going and going and going and going. But then there was a match where my opponent sniped every single one of them, and I was like, oh, stop it! So it really is one of them like hit and miss things. If these go off and they constantly keep giving you board presence, or even if their discard effects are relevant at that particular chosen time, it does incredibly well. If they get sniped, then it's going to go a different story. So risk and reward. The one Zephyros, so for those of you that aren't familiar with this, the way this works quite nicely is there's a time where if you don't have a Grepher or a Rainbow in the graveyard, this can actually bring back a Genta from the board to the hand, but more times than not, you want to be bringing back one of your dangers because then you can reveal the danger again because they're not once per turn. Crazy that, isn't it? And then, of course, I'm still playing the one Diabolica. I really like her, but like in the situations that I had today, there were so many times where I was like, right, okay, I can trigger Diabolica now, but I got a full board. So you really do need to manage your board state, but I still think it's a really kind of cool card. And then the one Catalyzer. And then for the illusions, so I've gone with triple Mirror Sword Knight and double Kotal. Now I did try it the other way around, but the reason that I went with 3 Mirror Sword and 2 Kotal is because ideally you don't want to be using Kotal. And what I mean by that is you don't want to go discard Kotal to get into your Mirror Sword because then if they get drolled, that's it. Like you can't do anything. So you go Kotal, search out Sword, droll, and you're like, ah. You have to use this during your opponent's turn, which doesn't give you as much advantage. So you ideally want to see the Mirror Sword Knight first, normal summon it, quick effect, tag it out, search out the, or special summon out the Gazelle, and then Gazelle search your Chimera Fusion, and then if your opponent goes droll, you go, okay, cool, I've still got the Chimera play to make. The Mirror Sword Knight quick effect is what caught so many people off. The fact that it was a quick effect to dodge out and go into Gazelle was really important because it allowed me to dodge a lot of interactions to it because a lot of people just weren't reading it or paying attention to it. Still does incredibly well. I really do like this engine. Like the fact that I'm able to kind of splash it in most dart-based decks, but the reason it works so well with the Dark Worlds is because the Chimera Fusion needs you to use a Beast or a Fiend, and you're always using Fiends. On top of that as well, technically Gazelle can search you out your Gold or your Silver if you need to complete the hand rip, but I'm always 9 times out of 10 searching out the Chimera Fusion. Then for the other spells, we've got 2 Gates, 2 Dark Corridor. I saw this card way too many times today. There was a lot of times that I saw it at 1, great, happy days. But then later on in that turn, I would see it again. I'm like, you're completely useless to me. So it's a really weird card because you want to play it at 2 because you want to see it, like actually see it in general. But then you want to play it at 1 because it's a hard once per turn. And it's like, nah, what one do I go for? 1 Accession, 1 Archives, 2 Thrusts, 1 Card Destruction, and the 1 Talents. I saw this loads of times as well, surprisingly. Yeah, I really like this. I still like the idea of, okay, giving my opponents a really thrust, search out talents, complete a hand rip. But I could also just search out Dark Corridor, which is why I'm highly considering putting Corridor back down to 1. But yeah, I don't know. Like, that's just my experience off the back of this. It might change. It might be a little bit different going forward. It might have just been the environment. So like my matchups were Utopia, which was a really weird start off one. And then it was Crystal Beasts, which is quite an interesting one. Then it was Track Tricks, and I lost that one in time. They cowboyed me for game, sad days. And then my final round was against Elemental Heroes, and they dystopiaed me for time. And I was like, okay, evidently something's going on here. Moving on to the extra deck, of course, we do play 2 Greffa Overlord Fusion. We played the 1 Chimera, the King of Phantom Beasts, your 1 Chimera, the Illusion Beast, as your boss monster, and the 1 Guardian Chimera. So these are your 5 fusions. Obviously, this is mainly reserved for your session, but your Chimera fusion can get into all of these, which is what makes it really nice. And ideally what you want to do is go in first, you want to go into the Chimera King of Phantom. This will then let you use the ability of recycling back the Chimera fusion. Set that during your opponent's turn, so you're going to rip one from your opponent's hand during the end phase. During your opponent's turn, you've got access to your Guardian Chimera, or the Greffa Dragon, or this as well, which is what's really, really nice. And for those of you that are confused why your Chimera Fusion can get you into the Greffa, is that this requires Greffa specifically and a Dark Monster, and the Chimera Fusion says you need to use a Fiend or a Beast. So as long as you're using a Fiend, you can fuse into whatever you want. You just can't discard, and you can't use the graveyard to banish, but you can use Field in Hand. For the links, Akashic puts in a lot of work. Muckracker, Cross Sheep, IP leaving into Unicorn, Appaloosa, Skuldred. Underworld Goddess went back in, did a lot of work actually, quite like that one. And then Daguerres and Baguska. Again, very standard lineup on this one. You can adapt it as you see fit. Like I never made Saruja this time, so I might actually cut Saruja. I don't know if I absolutely need it in this one. It's usually more effective in the tag out and go into Zelantis. But there's a couple of plays I had to make with Muckracker, which is really kind of cool. So like Muckracker being able to bring back the Greffa Fusion once they got rid of it. Muckracker's discard effect. Like locking yourselves into Fiends is not the end of the world either. There's so much you can do, which I really, really enjoyed about the deck. And that's just kind of what makes it, you know, makes it fun, makes it versatile. Like because it's got so much space for your normal summon, you can play it however you see fit. Moving on to the extra deck. So on the extra deck I was playing, side deck, I was playing 2 Dark Ruler No More, come off the back of Frost. 2 Cosmic Cyclone with a Harpy's Feather Duster, 2 evenly matched, and an Eradicator. Obviously, these, that, and that can come off of Frost, so I just had more consistent ways of getting to them. You could very easily play 3 Evenly or 3 Dark Ruler, but I like the idea that I was having 2 Frost, 2 Evenlies, 2 Dark Rulers, and I was like, right, okay, which one do I want to dig to? More times than not, you actually want to open up the Dark Ruler because, and I've said this before, if you're trying to go for Dark Ruler off of Frost, if they let that Frost go through, the chances are that when you activate Dark Ruler, either their board just doesn't matter, like they've already used up all their negates, or they're going to have held back a form of negation to deal with that Dark Ruler. So, like, by the time you get to a point, it's like, yeah, okay, if they've got loads of monster negates on the board, and they activate one of them and you go Frost, get to a Dark Ruler, then okay, they're in trouble. But if they let that Frost go through, it means they haven't got an Ash Blossom or anything else to really threaten you. And you're like, well, do I even want a Dark Ruler or an Evenly when if they've got nothing more to stop me, I can pretty much push for an OTK. Then we went with Ghost Balls. This should have been Lava Golem. I just didn't have my Lava Golems on me, so I had to go for my Raw Sphere modes. This kind of put you in a bit of situation. So when you gave them Raw Sphere mode, you had to get rid of it. And the only way you could get rid of it was non-target steal with Triple Tactics. So it really did force you to go, right, okay, well, I now have to give you Ceruli, make Ceruli make me use an effect so that I can then Frost to steal the Sphere. So it wasn't ideal, but it put in a lot of work breaking 3 monster boards. 2 Nibiru, and then Triple Draw. So, like, again, pretty standard. You adapt it to your local environment. But as I've shown you before, we've got hand traps to the format. You've got your board breakers, you've got your back row hate, you've got your technical floodgate, and then you've got your kaiju outs. So obviously because this deck doesn't need its normal summon, I can play Lava Golem, I can play Raw Sphere mode, but if you do lose your normal summon, you need to play kaijus. And then of course you've got your board negators in the form of Dark Ruler No More. You could go with Droplet if you want to, but sending your cards doesn't really give you anything. You ideally want to go second, Dark Ruler, turn off the board, and then just make your plays go from that point on. Plus, I really needed it against a hero matchup because I thought they were just going to go Dark Lord pass and I would have gone, stop it! But they didn't, luckily. But yeah, that was a very good matchup as well. Anyway, that is it. Short, sweet, simple, to the point. Very direct list. Again, if you do have any questions, by all means, put them in the comments down below. I'll be more than happy to answer them. But this is like the 100th Dark World deck. I just really do enjoy it. I like the versatility of it. I like the fact that it can be adaptive and it can change the angle that it takes with the deck. And that's what I really liked about the illusion cards as well, that you saw in the branded profile that I did the other day as well. It's just so cool of an engine, and it only gets better over time. So it's one of the ones that you probably wanted to pick up the Guardian Chimera as early as possible, but still, if you don't have them, go and pick up the Super Rares at the very least, and then you're going to want to get that Guardian Chimera. I say Guardian Chimera, it's not actually Guardian Chimera, it's Chimera the King. And the reason that you need this so bad is because you can't really play the illusion engine without it, because this is the bridge that gets you into everything else. It's the one you want to go to, and if you can't get to this, you kind of want to end up going to this, but to get to this you need this, otherwise you're going to have to be playing Chimera the Flying Mythical Beast, which no one really wants to do. It's probably worth that £15 to £20 kind of bullet to bite to play this. So anyway, really fun deck, really enjoyed it. Could have done better. Like, this is the one issue with this deck, is that I've got no time con option, because I was like, right, I'll move fast enough, but yeah, didn't move fast enough evidently. So I do need to go and probably put Coach Trainer back in the main or the side, or definitely just play a lot faster with the deck, and know exactly where I want to go. But like I said, because of the different variables in the deck, where okay, you've been hit with this hand trap, or your danger hasn't resolved on this one, there's just so many different changes in outcomes, it does make it a little bit difficult. So you have to be prepared to think on your feet, and the more and more you learn the deck, the more and more you'll know what you can do, how you can do it. You'll be like, right, okay, if this danger resolves, where do I go? If this danger doesn't resolve, where do I go? And you'll be more in tune to do something like that. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you do have any questions, like I said, please put them in the comments down below. I will be more than happy to answer them. But for now, as absolutely always, stay safe, and of course, happy dueling.